Welcome to Tab Talks, where I believe that talking is healing and listening is feeling. This is my first ever podcast. Creating my first ever podcast called Tab Talks. Talking is healing, right? Talking is healing. I believe that through talking, because I love to talk a lot, that I actually gain some healings from sharing information, especially with my mates. So that's basically why I created this podcast. I want to talk with my friends about their journeys, the things they've learned, tell some stories about our life, and just hopefully it might resonate with anyone listening out there. Because as much as talking is healing, so is listening. So here we go. Hello. So here we are with another Tab Talks episode. Today I have my amazing friend Tinuke.
Hello.
Hi.
Ding,
Thank
ding.
you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm ready. I'm very excited. We've got a very cute little setup here.
We have. We've done a little ambience soundproofing.
Yeah. We've got candles, we've got incense, we've got all the good stuff. Yes.
We've had a tea, we're ready to go. So
Yeah.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about doing hard things.
Yeah, my jam.
Absolutely. Both of our jam, actually.
Yeah, both of our jam.
This is funny because it came to me to interview you and to have you as a guest while I was in Guatemala on a silent retreat doing something really hard. And I had a crazy dream, and it was just, you need to message Tinuke, you need to get her in for a podcast, and you need to openly discuss all of the varied hard things that we've done, which is many, physical and emotional. And we just need to talk about it so everyone can hear that we love to do hard things. But yeah, basically how we met. Let's start with that.
Well, I mean, how did we meet? We didn't really meet when we were at Starlight.
No, we didn't meet through that. But we both did a job called Starlight Express, which is where we learnt to roller skate. And we're both now professional roller skaters.
Which was one of the hardest things we've ever done.
Ironically.
Right
separately.
at the beginning, separately. That was essentially roller skating, like 8 shows a week.
8 shows a week.
Injuries galore. But that was hardcore.
In Bochum.
In Bochum,
that was
in
hard.
Germany. Yeah, just being there alone was hard. Yeah. But we didn't do it at the same time.
No,
but that's kind of how our paths sort of started crossing.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
And then what did we do?
And then I think it's just from roller skating jobs.
Roller skating jobs,
yeah. Because I guess...
Can't remember the first one, though.
No, I can't. It was,
Maybe it was at, like, Juke Bar.
Yeah. That's hard in itself.
Yeah, we used to roller skate in a bar on a, lit up floor in central London at, 3 a.m.
Sticky
slippery alcohol all over the floor, dressed up in absolute...
Yeah. Drunken people seeing a skater
outfits.
in a leotard, whoa.
And that's where our friendship started.
That's where we blossomed,
That's cute.
But skate school in itself was hard, right?
Yeah.
So we had both never skated before. Well, I don't know.
No, I hadn't skated before.
No.
Yeah.
And then we're thrown into a place in Germany called Bochum, which is in the middle of nowhere. It's a pretty grey place. Yeah. And we had to learn to roller skate from 9 till 5 every day.
Every day. For was it nearly 3 months, wasn't it?
It was,
From start to finish.
Yeah, 3 months. And then each level of the test, so you'd learn to skate, you'd master that. Then it would be, can you dance on skates? And that was difficult.
Can you dance and sing on skates?
Can you sing in German?
Can you sing in German? Yeah.
And skate?
Yeah.
Can you wear lashes that are the size of my hand?
Yeah. And then every time, if you couldn't do each stage, you got chucked out and went home, which was brutal. It was the longest, most horrible 3-month audition of our lives.
Yeah.
Honestly, the blisters on my feet were gross.
Yeah.
And it is so humbling when you don't know how to skate and you try and skate. You've got to let go of your ego because 100%. You look like an absolute dork, learning how to roller skate.
Yeah.
So much falling over. blood blisters, crying. My body was broken, but I loved it though.
Yeah, same.
I loved it.
And ironically, we both became professional roller skaters from that job. Yeah. And even, I'm sure it's the same for you, when you introduce someone, they say, "Oh, what do you do?" And you say, "Oh, I'm a roller skater, actually."
Yeah. And they're like,
"What?"
Yeah, get a real job, babe.
Get a real job. So most recently, Tinuke has done something super hard. She's been on Survivor UK, the TV show, doing many physical hard challenges, lots of, I guess, people skills, difficult people skills to manage.
Yeah. It was, we essentially got marooned on an island in Dominican Republic, and we had to build our own shelter, eat very, very, very little the whole time. And then at the same time, we had to do physical challenges like getting stuck in a cage underwater for 3 hours, holding up weights above our heads until you collapse. Lots of sand, lots of swimming, lots of weights, lots of all this kind of crazy stuff. It's like total wipeout, but on a maroon beach. That was, I mean, I don't know how much I can keep saying it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, because I just, like, the list goes on. Yeah. It was hard though, really, really hard. And like you said, it was a lot of like people skills. So it was a lot of social skills, and you essentially vote each other out. So you want to be really, really liked in camp. At the same time, you don't want to become a threat. So you don't, because you get voted out because people think if you're going to win. And then also you want to be good at challenges because you want to win rewards and get further in the game, but you also don't want to be too good because then people think that they won't be able to beat you and win. So it's like, it's a real mixed bag of like physical hardness and mental resilience, which,
Well, to even get on the show in the first place, you have to have some sort of physical challenges and testing yourself.
We did a bleep test. I haven't done a bleep test since I've been in like year 8. It was horrible.
You saying about the bleep test.
It was horrible.
Oh my God, bleep test.
Bleep test. I know.
Don't you have to do one to be a fireman? I feel like that's something you have to do.
I probably do. I think I got up to like level 9 though, which I was pretty happy about.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But that's obviously, I don't think that's that great in the grand scheme of things. But I think it's above average, so that was good. Yeah, we had to do a swimming test. Yeah. We had to do like tread water for like 5 minutes. And then we had to like dive down and things. And then we had to do just like a full body MOT. Like they checked our heart, they checked our blood pressure, all the medicals, they checked our eyesight. It was 3 months. It was 3 months from when I got my first interview till when we actually went onto the show. But to be fair, now looking back at it, because the show's just finished now on TV, on BBC One, and it was this time last year that I applied. So it's been a year of my life of Survivor UK from start to finish, from auditioning, doing the show, and then watching it and it finishing. So it's been a whole year of this. So I'm really sad. It's like wild experience, and then you do something, it's finished. And it's like, okay, now what's next? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like I've been spat out the other side, and now I need to get on with the next thing.
We know that from shows anyway, don't we? Like in jobs, like you know, you do this crazy experience, amazing thing, and then it's like, oh, that's over. Back to the drawing board.
What's next?
Where do I go next? What do I do?
That's honestly, my friends always say, you know, something that I always say all the time, which is in my vocab, which is just what's next. It's what's next.
I love that though, because that actually opens up a whole world of things. What's next? It's like leaving space for all those opportunities to enter. It's funny, like this is a bit off the topic, but in Guatemala, so I've just done a month-long retreat in Guatemala, learning about all kinds of mysticism, metaphysics, silence, yoga, and it was amazing. But one of our teachers said, when she says, I don't know, it means she really knows everything. And I thought that was so cool.
Love that.
Because it's the way in which you say it, you know, I don't know. It's like you're questioning it.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. So like, what's next means like everything's next.
Everything's
the
next.
whole world is your opportunity.
But honestly, then you've got so much opportunity. Yeah,
it's overwhelming.
Oh, honestly,
when your career is a roller skater, I mean, honestly, what is next?
What is next?
So you've just just done Survivor on TV, and it was riveting to watch.
Love that.
I joined in just at the end, and Tinuke, we don't want to give anything away, but there was things where you were doing really well in challenges. Let's be honest. Like hanging the one underwater with the cage.
Yeah.
My dad was like, "Oh my God."
They were drowning us on national TV.
Yeah.
They actually were.
The funny thing is, like, my dad always says about TV shows like Survivor, like I'm a Celebrity, he calls it the Roman circus. He's like,
oh yeah, it is.
We are watching people suffer for entertainment.
Yeah.
But then in the same breath, you've signed up to it, so you kind of like the suffering.
I love the suffering. I love the suffering.
We love it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we are like savages at heart, aren't we? We like watching people suffer, and then we like suffering ourselves.
We like suffering, yeah. For what gain, though? What do you feel that when you do something, let's start with the physical. Mm-hmm. When you do something really physically challenging, what do you feel you gain from that? What's the bit you love?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this, and it's the feeling I get after doing something insanely hard outweighs the suffering that happens at the time. So I feel like I can just take on the world. I feel like such a badass boss. I don't know if I can swear. I was about to swear. Bad bitch. I feel like a bad bitch afterwards because one of the hard things I did when I first started getting a taste for this feeling is when I hiked into the Grand Canyon on my own for like 5 days with a tent on my back from Walmart, and I was completely on my own as well, and it was wild. It was the hottest I've ever been, and I didn't have anything with me. I was so underprepared. It was really, really dangerous. But anyway, when I came out, it was a 6-hour hike to get me out of the Grand Canyon, and I was just walking out, just like my face was beaming, and I was just saying to myself, like, you are a fucking bad bitch. Yeah. Like, you can take on the whole world, and the feeling, like, do you feel like superhuman, and the pride that you have for yourself after pushing yourself to a certain limit and smashing it is like unparalleled. It's like your self-confidence, your self-worth, your belief in yourself, and the bar for myself is already like quite high of what I think I can achieve just because of the things I've done to this point. Yes, but then when I came out of Survivor, the bar was like boom, like actually like so high. I was like, I did not think I was actually capable of half of the stuff that I'd just done on that show. But then it's like, wow, now the bar is high. You know, I've got to reach higher and higher. But always with hard stuff, like you feel. I always like the saying of if you had a friend who they said that they were going to come to dinner and they kept on cancelling and kept on cancelling and they never did what they said they were going to do, and you would stop trusting them. You know what I mean? You would stop trusting the fact that they were going to come. You wouldn't, you'd lose faith in your friendship with them. And I always like to think of that as with myself. So if I promise to myself that I'm going to do something hard, like in Survivor, I'm going to stay under until I can't breathe anymore in the water challenge.
Savage.
Afterwards, I come out and I'm like, I kept a promise to myself. You know, if I kept breaking promises to myself and kept saying, oh, I might do that, and then I'm not going to do it, or I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. You start losing faith in yourself, and you stop trusting in yourself that you're going to be able to do it. But it's the moment that you keeping promises to yourself and doing the hard things that you say you're going to do, you start believing in yourself more, and then you also start believing in yourself further than what your current capabilities are.
Totally.
Like you saying, like just before we started this podcast, you were saying how hard is hard. You know, like I can climb up this mountain in Guatemala and it's going to be fine, because you already have so much faith in yourself because you've kept promises to yourself in the past. Yeah. So you have faith that you're going to keep any promise you're going to make to yourself. Yes. So you were like, yeah, I can do it.
That's so true. Yeah, that's so true, because some people don't have that, do they?
No.
And that's actually, it goes deeper than doing something hard. It goes into self-love.
100%.
Yeah. Because I remember even with, skate school was one of those moments that now in life, I always think back, if I got through 4 months of skate school with blisters on my feet, bruised shins, like everything hurting, I can do it. Yeah. But then I remember in skate school I'd just done the world's highest bungee jump at 21.
Love that.
And I remember thinking when skate school was bad,
if I can
you've just done the bungee.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can do it. So you have
a little, like you have it in your locker. Do you know what I mean? Of proof that you're capable of pushing yourself to your self limitations that you've put on yourself, you're capable of overcoming them.
Yeah.
So as soon as you have one thing under your belt, it's just a catalyst effect to doing other things.
Totally. And you have to almost go through that really difficult point mentally, physically, to know that you can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like surrendering completely and trusting yourself, but you don't gain the trust until you throw yourself into the dark.
Yeah, and it's done.
Yeah, and it's done. It's always a risk. Yeah. Is it going to ever finish?
Is it going to finish? Yeah, it will always finish. But I mean, it could take a long time. You never know how long something like that could take.
That's so true. I love that. I love that way of thinking about it. Because it is so much deeper than that. We've spoken many times about things like this. You know, what made you go on that hike in the Grand Canyon on your own? What were you looking for?
What was I looking for? I mean, I think I was searching for that feeling that I got afterwards. I was searching for the feeling of loving myself. I'd just gone through a hard time at that moment. I just lost my brother, which is like my cousin brother, and my dad.
Yeah.
So I always love going out and looking for adventure, overcoming adversity on my own, especially is quite an important part of me at that time, because I feel like if I can get through that on my own, I can get through anything, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
So I think that's what I was searching for. I was searching for just self-love, feeling like a bad boss and overcoming anything. And also it's something to do with not just proving to yourself, but almost proving to others you are capable of overcoming adversity.
Yeah, anyone is.
Anyone is.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I think that's what I was searching for. And I like, it's escapism as well.
Totally.
It's escapism. It's escapism of being, for me as well, personally, I like being outdoors in nature. I like doing stuff outside. I like pushing my limits and being in touch with nature at the same time. So I think I was just, searching for expansion.
Totally. And I think also when you're in it, you have to be fully present in the moment. You're so fully alive and present in your body. It's almost, I don't want to say it's grounding, because you're probably so stressed.
No, so grounding. Yeah.
But it is. You're just
so grounding.
Like, wow, I did that in this body. It took me up this volcano. It took me hiking. It held my breath underwater. Wow, I'm so grateful for being alive.
Grateful for being alive. I'm so grateful that my body allows me to do these kind of things, that I have legs to walk into the Grand Canyon. Yeah. I'm so grateful that I have my lungs that allows me to skydive. You know, like after all of that stuff, you do feel very grounded and in touch with your body, and just like pure gratitude that you're able to do these things. And then it almost feels like a waste of my bodily functions if I wasn't using it and doing all of those things. You know,
how extreme can I take it?
Honestly.
100%. I so resonate with that. And I think I was just telling you before this podcast, so I just climbed this volcano in Guatemala, and one of the girls that did it with me, she won't mind me saying this, but it was so funny. The whole climb was pretty hard, but not too bad. And then it was the summit at sunrise when it's dark in the ash, and you take one step forward and 2 steps back. We'd already done half of it. And she just said, "Oh, I'm gonna stop."
Had enough.
Yeah, she's like, "I can't go on." And then, you know, she was like on her time of the month, which also as women we use that as like, "Oh, we're in pain, like we should chill."
Yeah.
And I just felt a bit bad. I turned back to her.
Pull your socks up.
I did. I was like in the dark with my head torch, like shining, beaming down on her, like on the floor, crumbled. I was like, "You can do it." I was like, "We can do hard things. You're stronger than you think." Like, Tabby, no. She's like, "I'm staying here. I can't do it." And I was like, "Babe, you've literally been through the pain already. Like, at least make it to the top."
Yeah.
Like, you've just done half an hour in the dark in hell.
Yeah.
It was hell, and I didn't want to like show her that I was like, this is horrendous. But I'm not doing it alone.
Yeah.
So I almost needed her to come.
Totally.
And she needed this strict, firm word being shouted at her in the dark.
Yeah.
And then we did it. And then at the top, she was like, "Thank you so much for saying that." And I was like, honestly, I needed to hear it myself.
Yeah.
So me giving you that advice was really for me to take it too.
Yeah.
And it was funny. Yeah, she was on her time of the month, and I was like, exercise helps the pain. You will do this. It's like, I am so savage. I was like, this is horrible.
It's good. And it is amazing that like you're able to be that person, not just for her, but for yourself as well. Because, you know, there's different types of people. Some people need to hear it. Some people need to say it.
Yeah, that's true.
And some people can do both for themselves.
Yeah,
so
I've never thought about that, actually.
Yeah,
I definitely do feed off with other people.
Yeah.
That helps me a lot.
Yeah.
So amazing when you did the Grand Canyon hike on your own.
Yeah.
Did you think you were getting out?
Lots of things. Well, most things, actually, to be fair, I've done alone until I did Survivor, because that's as a team. So that was the first time that me personally, I've never even really enjoyed group sports. Like, I'm an only child and I'm very, very independent. Like as a kid, I've always done gymnastics, diving on my own, swimming on my own, trampoline on my own, using my physical body. Do you know what I mean? It's never been like badminton or team, like nothing with an apparatus or a team. It's just me and my body alone. Thank you very much. Which was the first time I'd ever done something as a team, which was in Survivor. And I loved it. Yeah. Like, loved it. I've always had to be the person who cheers myself on. And I've always had to be the person who can pull myself out of a sad situation or feeling low. So I've never had help. And I never realised how much benefit I could have got from it. Like, when you win as a team and you're like, yes, and you're like hugging each other, and like that team spirit was like amazing. I loved it. But I think for me, they definitely, they're both as amazing as each other. Doing something and overcoming it on your own, and doing something and overcoming it with a team. It's just, both are just as powerful as each other. I just never experienced a team win like that before, and I loved it.
I love that, because it's, what's next? What other ways can we experience that endorphin rush and that self-love for ourselves with a team and alone? Like both. Combo.
Both.
Just do as much as you can at all times.
Honestly, 100 miles an hour.
We are. Honestly. Oh God. What do you think? So sticking with the physical for now. What do you think is the hardest challenge you've done?
Physical challenge.
There's been a few.
There's been a few. I think one of the hardest things I did physically was when I lived in the woods for 5 days.
I wanted to bring this up. Because this is before you found out you've got Survivor.
This was actually before I'd found out. I was just doing that for fun.
You were just doing
that was
just in case.
This is just something I had on my list.
Love that. Yeah.
So it was going out, living in the woods, in the wild, in like near Glastonbury in the UK for 5 days on my own, catching my own animals, making traps, building my own shelter, making my own fire.
No lighters.
No lighters. And nothing, like not even a tarpaulin. I had to build the shelter and fill it with like mud and sticks. And not just to top that whole thing off, it rained the entire time. It poured with rain the whole time. Like, I was actually having to make a moat around my fire to like drain the water so that my fire didn't go out. I would like,
after you finally got it going.
After I finally got it going, and I had to make a moat around my fire and then make a river for it to come out. No. It was wild. And not only that was it a physical challenge because it was so exhausting, like building a shelter like that, cutting all of that wood, making sure everything's the right height, and then, you know, building a bed, and that was physically challenging. But the mental side of it was really challenging as well, because on the first 2 nights, I didn't have any proper cover. So you're in the woods on your own.
Weathering the conditions.
But also, I felt like I was in like Blair Witch Project or something. Yeah. Like, I was actually scared. The first night I was scared because it was pitch black. There was so many animals around and I had no shelter.
Wow.
So it was really, I felt exposed and I felt terrified. I don't know why I thought like there was Gollum, you know what I mean? Like crawling around.
You get in your own head.
You get in your own head. And I didn't sleep a wink. And then the second night I was like, okay, now it's night number 2. I experienced how awful it was when I let my mind take control of my reality. And tonight I'm not going to be scared. And I was just like, no, I'm not having it. Like, I need to sleep. I'm not having it. I can't torture myself like that.
No.
So the second night, I started getting a bit freaked out and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But then the second night, just this is the way the universe tests you.
100%.
The second night, I didn't realise it was near like an airfield, like a military base. So they used to test their helicopters and like planes and stuff like that at like 2 a.m. in the morning. So there was a helicopter over my head at like 2 a.m. in the morning, like hovering and like going around. And I, obviously being from London, you instantly think there's a helicopter. That means they're looking for someone.
Yeah, someone's on the loose.
Someone's on the loose in the woods. And I thought that there was someone on the loose from the prison. Yeah, I was like, I'm screwed.
From the prison. It's always from the prison.
I know, I've watched too many movies.
Someone's crazy's on the loose, crazy. Hiding in a building.
Yeah, and they're out to get me.
Yeah.
Specifically.
They're looking for me.
They're looking for me. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that was hard. But then obviously the next day I looked it up and I was like, okay, it's an airfield and they do their testing at 2 a.m. in the morning over the woods where they don't think anyone's going to be, obviously. There's always an explanation. Yeah. So that was really, really, really hard. But after that, I got in the car and I was driving back and I was blasting music out. I was just like, yeah, like that. There was that endorphin feeling again, like overcoming adversity and surviving it. I felt, it was amazing. That was the feeling that I searched for. And
that's crazy, because that is literally, if everything in your whole life went hits up, you could survive.
Honestly.
In the woods.
Honestly.
Alone. That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that was
so
really hard.
So thrilling. I love that.
So
I love
great.
It so much.
Lots of other activities as well, like skydiving. I know you've done that as well. That was a real mental game. You're throwing yourself out of a plane. Yeah. It goes against...
Everything says no.
Everything says no.
For me, the skydiving, so it was funny. So because I'd done the bungee when I was 21, so I did this bungee jump in Macau. My friend, she was working over there and I flew out to China to see her. That was like my first solo travel trip.
Love that.
And she'd already done the bungee, so I was like, I'm going to do it. I didn't even think about it, wasn't scared at all. Got to the very top and then I'm on the edge and they're like, 3, 2, 1. I'm like, I can't do it.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah. I was honestly thinking, what am I doing? And as they're doing the countdown, I'm looking at them saying, I'm not doing it, but I'm prepping my arms.
Yeah.
And he said, you've prepped your arms. Your body's telling you you're going to do it. You're going to be fine. So I did that. And honestly, it was one of the worst things I've done. It was the best and worst at the same time. Yeah. It was so many conflicting feelings. It was like, I feel absolutely, this is horrendous. I'm throwing myself off a building. Yeah. But then, quick, try and enjoy it because this is cool. Yeah. So I kind of was falling, terrified, and looking around like, wow. Wow. Yeah, like, ah. So that was interesting. And then the skydive, and the bungee was worse for me because you're passing things. Like, the land is falling past you. Whereas I feel like with the skydive, you're so high that you're kind of falling. It feels like you're floating. Yeah. Things aren't passing you. But with the skydive, so we're in the plane going up. I did it in Las Vegas in the Nevada desert. And then there's a group of us and we're up. And then you think, wow, I'm pretty high here. We must be jumping soon. And then they're like, halfway, guys.
Oh my God.
And you're like, that was when I started to be like, my God. Yeah. But then... Because I was strapped to someone, so I guess you don't really get a choice, do you? They're taking you down either way.
You put all your trust in them.
Oh, wow, yeah.
All your trust in them, honestly. Yeah. What was it? Something I did the other day. Oh, I did wing walking, which is where you strap yourself to the top of a plane.
Something I did the other day, guys.
Something I did the other day. They were like strapping me in and... I was like, I'm just trusting that this is all correct. You know, I'm trusting that they've strapped me in right. I'm trusting that the plane has been serviced. I'm trusting that the weather conditions are all right. And I'm trusting that they're saying, yeah, this is fine. We do that. We do this all the time. I'm just, you know what I mean? You're up there and you're like, it's surrendering control. It's just pure surrendering control. Yeah. And this is what I did the other day, which was jump off of, a very high basin into really, really, really deep cold water in the Lake District. It was beautiful, but it was freezing. And I was on the edge. I'm here. I'm naked. I didn't have anything with me. I didn't have a swimming costume. and you just lean off the edge and your foot just comes off and then you have a little moment in your mind where you're like, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea. And then you're like you're just surrendering to the situation. And your mind is saying it's a bad thing to do, but it's that push that you have to give yourself, and you can only do it to yourself to just do it.
Yeah.
And if you stand anywhere and think about anything for too long, then you start talking yourself out of it.
Yeah, totally.
So it's got to be quick. But I do think that all of that stuff I did learn from high diving at a very young age, because you're very high up and the longer you think about the dive, the less likely you're going to do it. And the only way you're going to get better at it is if you do it loads and loads and loads of times.
Yeah.
So the feeling of, I don't let myself think about anything for too long.
Yeah, that's so
When I make
good.
a decision on something, I do it as soon as possible before I can start scaring myself.
That's so good, because I think in this day and age, everything is mental, isn't it? We're such mental people, and worry and anxiety is such a big epidemic at the moment, isn't it?
Totally.
So if we overthink things, I've had that realization myself, actually, because I used to hate's a strong word, but I used to hate my brain for being an overthinker. And actually, just from this retreat in Guatemala, I did 5 days silence, and for me, anyone that knows me was like, oh, good luck. Silence. And it's been something that's on my radar, but I never would pay to do it because I thought, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I could do all the physical challenges.
Yeah.
But then this 5 day silence was within a retreat with all the other stuff that I wanted to do. So I thought, okay, it's included. I might as well give it a go.
Yeah.
And one of the big epiphanies I had, because you are sitting with your thoughts 24 hours a day. There's no escaping it. And you watch your brain and you're like, wow, that was random. Or you're thinking, oh my God, podcast with Tinuke, must do it.
Yeah.
So the creativity comes in because you're giving it space.
Totally.
But that was my learning, was that actually this overthinking brain that I've quote unquote hated was my best tool.
Yeah.
You can use it to such good, hard, difficult things.
Yeah.
And you can use it to be creative, and you can use it in the right way. You just have to clear the crap, basically.
Yeah.
So you're right. When you make a decision, if you're thinking about overthinking it, you're not going to do it.
Yeah. You can't dwell on it.
Yeah, but then once you've decided, you can use your mind to be like, come on, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So then you can talk yourself into things as well.
Exactly.
You can talk yourself into things just as much as you can talk yourself out of things.
Yeah.
I always like the quote, leap and the net will appear. That's like my quote. Like, let's not just think about it too much. Let's plan, obviously.
Action.
And then let's go. Because you can't think about it for too long. But then, you're right. You can use your brain to talk you into stuff, which is what I do quite a lot as well.
That's so true. That net quote that you just said, that is us all over.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
The surrender experiment. I've just got
figure it out on the way down. But it's not down. It's that when I say that, I said we'll figure it, like, leap and the net will appear. We'll figure it out on the way down. But down is the wrong word. It's we'll figure it out on the way up.
Yes.
So we're jumping upwards.
Yeah. You're jumping upwards.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you kind of have to, once you've made the decision, you know that you're going to just do it no matter what. So
and going back to the reason why you know you can do it is because we've already done hard things before.
Yes.
So we've got it in our locker, and we've made promises that we've kept time and time after again.
Yeah. That's so true. That's just reminded me, because I've just booked to do the Ibiza half marathon in April.
Nice.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, why I booked it so casually was because I did a half marathon in lockdown accidentally.
Yeah.
Because I had such high anxiety.
Oh my God.
I was running. You
were running a lot.
I was running a lot.
Yeah.
It was my way of feeling not trapped.
Yeah.
So, you could do your exercise once per day or whatever.
Yeah.
So I go on these really long runs. And then one day, I think it was at about 17K, and I thought, I'm just going to keep going. Because I'm nearly at a half marathon. And again, what an achievement. I'll feel buzzing after.
Amazing.
But it was just running on anxiety. So it wasn't the healthiest way of running. But then again, why I know I can do this Ibiza one coming in April is because I've already done one. So it's that. It's still
just
going to be
making
a
small step though.
Exactly.
Like anyone listening who's saying, well, I don't have that in my locker. All you need to do is something.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is a little bit bigger than the next thing. The next thing is a little bit bigger than the next thing. By the end of it, your limitations are so much bigger and so much, more expansive. And if they're not even there in the first place, there's no limitations on your mind.
Yeah.
Of what you think you can do. So
it
doesn't have to be big things. The only reason, they're just tiny things.
Just to get you to build up the trust you have in yourself and your power.
Yeah. And the promises, even if it's, I'm not going to drink a cup of tea today. And then the next day, if you're trying to give up caffeine, for example, and then the next day you're like, mate, I don't have to ever drink caffeine the rest of the week because I've already done it for one day. Now I know I can do it for more.
Yeah.
So
true.
Easier said than done, though. Easier said than done because, I say that, but then, I do obviously have my muses.
Oh, me too.
Like, honestly.
That was that again. Sorry, I'm going on about this silent retreat, but we did silence and fasting. So we had
fasting, man.
Yeah, but semi-fasting. We had 2 juices a day and 1 soup.
Yeah.
And then the last day was water fast.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest bit for me, actually. Yeah. The silence wasn't too bad. But then once you've broken the silence, I am binging.
Yeah.
I've not stopped.
Honestly.
Yeah.
This is it. Okay, so that's it's the binging.
Balance.
Yeah, it's the balance. When I came off the show Survivor, obviously we hadn't eaten anything.
So you know you can do it, and it's
so I know I can do it, but babes, I was like a squirrel. Like everything I was eating, it was just like, it was that feeling of not having something for a while. I thought that it could be taken away again, like some kind of mental thing. I don't think I've really stopped eating since the show like that, because I was so like terrified in the fact that I might not be eating regularly.
Yeah, we all said the same, because all of us, we did
this after the retreat.
Fasting, and we all did it. We all stuck to it, and great, I have willpower. That's cool. I didn't break it. But then after that, no willpower.
Yeah, no, because honestly,
none. 0 willpower. And we were just binging so much food, and I think it is that weird thing of your body, without you thinking about it too much, your body is just
gone
keep
into
feeding
survival mode.
Yes,
because it's thinking that could happen again at any moment. So I need to make sure I'm topped up. Yeah,
with cakes and chocolate and crisps and all that useful, beneficial, nutritious food.
Honestly, you've got great willpower though. You really do. Like you've stopped drinking for so long now.
Yeah,
you've been sober for ages.
Yeah, it's just over 10 months now.
So
drinking.
Impressive.
But again, it's that weird. I think once you go past the point, you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's just doing. Yeah. It's just doing. And I just really feel so much benefit from it.
Oh my God. I can see.
Oh,
yeah, I can totally see.
That's so
I was
nice.
saying to Abel was my partner before you came round. I was explaining you.
In a nutshell.
Yeah. And I was just like, the turnaround from your year of sobriety is like absolutely wild.
Because we did.
How much you've achieved is so impressive. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. You know what? I was thinking that the other day. I had a little look at some of, in particular, roller skating jobs.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I'm kind of winding down from that side of my career. And actually, I look back and I've achieved so much this year. And again, not with thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Because I know we've found in performing, you overthink it, you want the job.
Honestly.
You're wishing, hoping for that job, and then it's all stressful and you're not hearing. And whereas now I think we're both, like you said, with the trust.
Yeah.
It's not just trusting yourself, it's trusting the universe.
Totally.
And if it doesn't work out, it's not as big a deal anymore. Something else comes in. The net will catch you, always.
Oh, the net will catch you.
Yeah. But going into, the other side of doing hard things. So in regards to emotionally overcoming hard things and spiritually overcoming hard things, I've touched on the silent retreat.
Yeah.
But for me that was a thing, and actually it was way easier than I thought. Yeah. I built it up in my head to be such a thing. And again, if you can do a physically hard thing, you can do an emotionally hard thing.
100%. So, we both did ayahuasca, didn't we?
We have.
Yeah. That was an emotionally hard thing.
Yeah.
Like, wow, amazing.
And surrender. When you said surrender, I always think to that. I always think to the medicine. Because you have to. You're in it. Once you've drunk it.
Oh, there's no going back. Yeah. You can't abort mission.
You cannot abort. And then whatever happens, whether it's nice, whether it's difficult, whether it's challenging, you have to be present in it. Yeah. And go through
experience it. That's what that whole retreat for me was about with the ayahuasca. I remember on my vision board that I've got at the moment, the biggest part of it just says enjoy the journey, because you're on it. Like whether you want to be or not. So put your seatbelt on and just enjoy it, because if you weren't on any kind of, journey or roller coaster, you'd be so depressed and nothing would be happening, and you'd feel like you wanted movement in some direction. So when you're moving, hang on. Yeah. Have a good time.
Yeah, and it's the fear of the fear of change is what it is, and control, like you said.
Yeah, totally.
Because it keeps us safe with what we know.
Yeah.
So anytime, actually, someone I met, she came on one of my retreats. She's a legend. She's just quit her job and she's going traveling, and she's wanted to for ages, but then suddenly she's done it and she's like, oh no, I've made the wrong decision.
Really? Yeah.
And I said, no, that's just the fear saying this is new. You don't know what's going to happen, and it wants to put you back to what you know. Like, oh, that's it. And then she feels fine again.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but it's so true, because I think that's we all have it. We all have it. It's like, is that our intuition telling us that this is a bad decision? But it's not. It's when you go really into it, it's the fear just keeping you safe, technically safe, quote unquote. Yeah,
and fear can be paralyzing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
100%. It can be so paralyzing. It can stop you from moving forward.
It's interesting because I haven't actually spoken about the medicine yet, but I'm going to do a full podcast on it. Amazing. So we'll have to do another one.
Yeah, we'll do another one.
So with that, I have tried so many different hard things, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and I'm on this journey of discovery, right? Yeah. Just discovering myself, and I just want to be the best version of me, hence the not drinking. The ironic thing is, at the stage I was doing the plant medicines, I was learning so much, but now I've come full circle that actually we know it all already. Yeah. By doing these little things, like you say, the trust, it's trusting yourself. And I've come to this conclusion that, is it our outside environment that affects our inside environment? Or is it our inside environment that affects our outside environment?
I think it's inside affects outside.
I've meditated on it a lot in the silence, and I think it is the inside. Because I think if you, again, great tools, plant medicine is a great tool for whatever you need it, if you're getting called to do it. But it's not going to fix it. It's you inside
totally.
that has to do it.
Totally. And it's the whole thing of your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes.
And what, manifesting what you want in your life. If I tell myself I'm never going to be able to do something over and over again, there's no way in hell you're ever going to be able to do it if you don't tell yourself, I'm going to be able to do 2 push-ups by the end of the week. I'm going to be able to do 2 push-ups by the end of the week. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you tell yourself that over and over again, you'll start creating your own reality, and then you'll be like, God, I've got to practice then, haven't I? If I'm going to tell myself I have to do this by the end of the week, I better get going. So you'll do it. Yeah. I teach a lot of fitness classes, and my motivational chat is wild.
Oh my God, I would love it.
I'm just saying stuff like, it's all of that, like, you tell yourself you can do it, and it's what you tell yourself is the blueprint to what you're going to be able to achieve for the rest of the class. So when everyone's lying there, I'm like, you have to tell yourself that by the end of this class you're going to feel like a badass, and you're going to have completed it, and you're going to go out feeling smug as hell for the rest of the day and be proud of yourself. You know what I mean? Start your day like that. Start your year like that, or your week. I mean, it's a very fine line of delusion as well.
It is. I was just thinking that, because like a fitness class, for example, I love my fitness, but as soon as I have a thought that's like, oh, you're quite tired now, I stop.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like a real go-getter, as we've been speaking about, but one little thought like that, I just give up. If I catch the thought coming in, it's not in yet. Switch it straight away. You catch it like, oh, you're feeling I'm feeling great.
Yeah. I'm going to be absolutely fine.
It's delusion.
It's delusion.
What's this? Oh, I'm not going to get the percentage right, but isn't it, they say that when you think you're at 100%, you actually got 25
Oh, yeah. I don't know the stats.
That's not the right
There's
stats.
always more in the tank.
Yes.
That's the vibe. Yeah.
When you think you're
more in the
maxed
tank.
out, there's always more.
But it is tough as well, because like, that is our personality, and not everyone has that kind of mindset. Yeah. So it's easy for us to be like, there's always more in the tank. You can do it, because sometimes, and people are really happy not doing that. Yeah. Not getting outside the tank.
And I think that's what our purpose is, and that's why we're doing this podcast.
That's why we're doing it.
Because again, is this, if someone listens to this podcast, that's something outside of them that they can listen to, but is it coming from inside or outside, This outside might be a tool to motivate someone to try it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, if they want to do 2 push-ups that week, they've got to action
do it. Yeah, totally.
And it's all about having the intention. That's all it is. It just starts with an idea. It starts with an intention, and then a little bit of action.
A little bit of action.
Only a little bit.
But then once you've done the little bit of action and you've done it and you've completed what you said you're going to do, then you'll get a taste for it.
Yeah.
You'll get a taste for that feeling, which makes you feel great. And then you go and search for it again. And then you go and search for it again. And it's just that it's the taste for it. It's the hunger for it. You get addicted to feeling proud of yourself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, addicted to feeling proud and feeling alive, I guess. I love that. There's definitely worse things to be addicted to, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
So in regards to what's next for Tinuke, you know, you love Bear Grylls, don't you?
Yeah,
and...
I love Bear Grylls-ish. I like his career. I'd like to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I can so see that.
Yeah, I want to just continue exploring the world. And I've just got like wanderlust syndrome, so I just want to go and explore as much as I can. I want to keep pushing myself out of my limits. I'm like really, really excited about projects I'm doing at the moment, which is about lots of like diversifying the outdoors.
Yes.
And lots about, I mean, it's wild, like the amount of hate comments I've got online.
Really?
Specifically from people of colour and women of colour, mainly, being like, you're obviously not black enough, or you're obviously not fully black, otherwise you wouldn't do stuff like that. Or, you know, like, you know, you spend too much time around white people, otherwise you wouldn't be, you know, like doing all these crazy things. It's actually wild.
God.
I really wasn't expecting that. So it just shows me so much like how deeply ingrained it is that, you know, black people don't do adventurous stuff. So I'm really like, and it's just so far from our ancestors. We were hunters, we were survivalists, we were surviving with barely anything and being outdoors all the time. There's so many things where, like, you know, black people can't swim, black people don't go camping, black people don't like heights, and it's just like all of this stuff. I'm really on a bit of a mission to try and change that stereotype. Because, and I've got like just as much hate as I've got loads of inspiring messages of people being like, only yesterday actually I was in Canada on the slopes, and I didn't see really anyone of colour up on the ski slopes or anything like that. And it's a really, there's lots of things that go into the reason why people don't do adventurous stuff like that. But I'm on a mission to try and switch that narrative and just reclaim our heritage of being adventurers and being explorers and survivalists, and hopefully inspire inner city babes like me to go and do like exciting stuff in nature and just reclaim all of that.
Oh, 100%. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, you're just being exactly authentic to you. Yeah. You're not doing it to do something that doesn't feel aligned with you. No. You know?
Yeah. I'm doing it, and I'm trying to do it to show people how amazing it can make you feel.
Yeah,
and
you actually enjoy it.
Exactly. I love it, and how pushing yourself and completing it can make you feel so much better about yourself, and it can completely widen your horizon of what you think your capabilities of yourself are. So I really want other people to see that and to try it and to do stuff with me, rather than them just being like, okay, she's just a freak of nature. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want people to just look at me like the stuff I'm doing isn't unachievable. No, because it's achievable. So yeah, totally. That's the plan.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's totally achievable. And the thing is, I guess you don't know if you're going to like it or hate it until you've tried it.
Totally.
So yeah, it might not be for you, but if you've not tried it, you might find out that you love to hike. Or swim or whatever it is.
Kayak. Or
that's next.
Snowboard kayaking's next,
Kayaking's next.
Kilimanjaro. Do you want to come?
Let's do it.
Do you? Oh my God, I really want to go.
Same. And you know why I carried my own backpack?
Yeah.
That's for that. Because I thought if I ever do Kilimanjaro, you're going to have to take all your
everything.
Gear. Yeah, sorry, we've skipped a little bit of info there. So when I climbed the volcano in Guatemala, I've never hiked with a backpack or with equipment. Yeah. I've just always hiked like in my leggings. There was an option for you to pay a porter to carry your bag for you. So I was in this torn predicament, overthinking as per usual. And I was thinking, you know, if I pay a porter, that is giving money to a local Guatemalan who could really benefit from my money of carrying my bag up the volcano. But something doesn't feel right about that. That feels very privileged of me to be able to pay someone to carry my backpack. Neither is wrong, neither is right, but it was just my own decision. So I decided to carry my own backpack, and it was actually fine.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I'm so glad I tried it, because everyone was talking me out of it, like, it's going to be so hard, you're going to find it really difficult.
Yeah.
And I really stuck to my guns with it, and I thought,
well done, babe.
Yeah, if I ever climb Kilimanjaro, now I know it's all right, it's doable.
When
Kilimanjaro is a bit different.
Well, I don't know. I think I just want to go for it. And then I was kind of looking up. It's like, how much training do I need? And I was like, I mean, I have got like a very good level of fitness. Maybe it could just happen.
Maybe we could just do it.
Yeah, if you want to come, babes, no joke. Let's do it.
Let's look into it.
We can podcast from the mountain.
Oh no, funny story though. At the top of the volcano, I was so, like you said about the camping where you got in your own head that there was someone out on the loose to get you.
Yeah.
I was at the top of the volcano, it was freezing, and my toes started to go numb, and I was in these little trainers, right?
Oh,
and I started to overthink. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my toes.
Frostbite.
But once you get into that fear mode, I thought, how long are we going to be here?
Yeah.
Frostbite is a real thing. It does happen to people. I'm in these really bad trainers. I was like, my toes, oh my God, I'm going to lose my toes. And it's like this beautiful view of an erupting volcano in front of me. And I'm just like, my toes are going to be gone. I lost my toes. And then I got all the way down. Everyone's like, oh my God, how amazing was that? I'm just like, panic mode, get me to the fire, get my feet, my tootsies near that fire. And they came back straight away.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh my God, this is the end.
I fucked
it. Imagine after all that. But yeah, stupid really. But it is good to talk about, even though we do hard things, we have these irrational, silly thoughts.
Oh my God, so many irrational thoughts. Yeah, when I went to Iceland, I was hiking on my own through the most insane landscape ever I've ever been looking at with my own eyes. It was awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
And there was not another person for 5 hours. I didn't see another human being anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was just looking around like, there could be someone following me, or there could be something like I don't know, for me it's always like a gremlin or something.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, Bigfoot, or like I don't know, like the hills have eyes or something. Do you know what I mean? Like climbing and scrambling and following my footsteps, like smelling my blood or something. Like honestly, there is so many irrational thoughts. The amount of times I have to talk myself out of that.
The inner narrative.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not like superhuman. We definitely get horrific thoughts.
Oh yeah, definitely.
To try and talk us out of doing stuff.
But then again, like you said, it's the trust. So I think I want to leave it on that note actually.
Love that.
The more you do, the more you change the inner narrative, the more you trust yourself, the more you trust the universe. It always works out. The net will always catch you.
The net will always catch you, and you have faith in yourself to be able to do it, which is the important thing.
The biggest part is giving it a go, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you'll hear from us next on Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. We will be there.
When are we booking this?
Oh, well, thank you so much. And
big love.
You're the best.
If you want to see more of what I'm up to, please give me a follow on Instagram @TabithaCamden. Thank you so much for listening today. I super enjoy recording these podcasts. And if you've enjoyed listening, please hit that follow or like or subscribe button for Tab Talks podcasts.